of a fairy tale. You can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I'll cross the street. I have a dream. I have a dream, a fantasy to help me through.
Indeed, I have a dream as well. My dream is to wake up one day and realize that the Galamsey fight has been taken not just a notch higher, but several notches higher, such that we are able to win this fight, just to save our environment and the future of this country. Once again, good morning to you, and I'm glad that you've stayed with us. This is Love in the Morning on Love 99.5 FM. And listen, if you're as worried as I am about what is happening to the environment by the way of Galamsey activities, listen, don't keep quiet. Speak to duty bearers. Speak to people who are in leadership positions. Because, tests conducted on 10 major rivers across the country have revealed very high levels of dangerous heavy metals. Now, the Oda, the Ankobra, Tano, Ofen, and 6 other, rivers presented dangerous levels of lead, arsenic, chromium, and, cadmium. Don't be scared with the big words there. The bottom line, they're dangerous to our health. Now, scientists say swimming or using these waters for farming presents a major health risk. If you didn't get that, I'm going to take it again. Scientists are saying that swimming or using these waters for farming presents a major health risk. So for those of you who want to eat your vegetables, okay, or you want to enjoy your fruits, do you know the kind of water that was used by the farmer on the crop or the fruits? You buy carrots and you chew them. You buy oranges and banana, you eat them. Do you know the kind of water that was used on them? And like I always say, don't take my word for it. I'm not the expert. Take a listen to excerpts from a documentary put together by the award-winning PAV Answer Award, Communicator Award winner, Rasen Saridog, who's also an assistant editor here at Multimedia, on his latest documentary, Poison for Gold. Take a listen to excerpts.
We fetched samples to be tested for heavy metals at the Sheath Laboratory of the KNUST's Chemistry Department.
For standards sake, we use the World Health Organization standards.
The World Health Organization pegs the acceptable standard for arsenic at 0.0050 milligrams per liter, while the US and Ghana pegs it at 0.010 milligram per liter. The Oda, Brim, Pra, Ankobra, Enuru, Ofin, Ashre, Butre, Subri, and Tano registered between 0.216 and 0.444 milligrams per liter, which is 0.434 milligrams higher than acceptable levels. This is 20.6 to 55.6% higher than acceptable levels in water using the American and Ghanaian standards. Dr. Eugene Ansah explains the test results.
All these water samples that are coming from our water bodies in Ghana were found to be acidic in nature. In terms of toxic metals, lead was ranked as the highest toxic metal present in all these water samples. And should anybody drink this water or even swim in these waters, then they are exposed to high levels of lead. The other metals include chromium, cadmium, and arsenic.
All right, so like you just heard, almost all major rivers and streams across the country are highly polluted by irresponsible mining. So even if you're somebody who drinks directly from the tap in your home, all right, the tap from the Ghana Water Company Limited, if you fetch water from it and you drink, school children go to school, some of them where they have, tap water flowing, they drink from the tap. How safe are they? with all this Galamsey, activities that's going on. And like I said before, listen, if we keep quiet, if we don't talk about it, it will go on and on and on. And the future is at risk. So speak to duty bearers, speak to the leaders of this country. Tell them what you make of our fight against Galamsey. That's our conversation this morning right here on Love 99.5. And we are live on Facebook as well. So if you join us on Facebook, we'll show you excerpts from that documentary put together by Erastus Asaridonko. Erastus, good morning to you.
Good morning, David.
And, I haven't seen you officially or haven't had the opportunity to be with you like this on radio.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
The PAV Ansa Communicator Award winner. still enjoying that recognition, aren't you?
Yeah, by the grace of God and the support from the family, we've been able to do this. And I say glory be to Jehovah, who has been protecting us all this while through thick and thin, dangerous places we have been, and protecting the team and I. It's been a long journey.
And indeed, to those resource persons you engage with, Professor Say, Sampini and Co.
I don't know how to continue to thank him. Professor Osei Sampini is one marvelous guy, and as a country we should have been by now consulting him, feeding him with resources to continue to do the fantastic job he has started for Ghana. He went out of his way. In fact, he would have done his autopsy and gone somewhere, but he decided, no, I need to go into this for the sake of humanity. And he has done this work, and we are tapping into this work to project the real issue on the ground so that people can
But another fantastic documentary, very deep, very revealing, but also very disturbing.
Yeah.
Especially when you hear the figures that the doctor churns out, that per the WHO and of course that the acceptable standards is 0.0050 milligrams per liter.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we're doing way beyond that. Ghana and the USA, we have agreed to even do 0.010. The WHO is doing 0.0050. The USA, well, they're doing Ghana and USA is doing 0.10 milligrams per liter. It tells you that, we have been a bit lenient.
Yeah.
But aside from that, we are rather registering 0.216
to 0.444. In some cases, we had 1.24 something. Very high. Very, very high. And these are the rivers and streams you are seeing flowing around, polluted. It means that if you swim in this water, if children swim in, and we've seen children swim across the country, children are swimming in these waters. Directly, you are having concentrations go directly into your system.
Because the skin has pulse.
Yes.
And so these waters and the chemicals enter you through the pulse.
And if you watch the part 2, which we're going to show next week, Monday, we have experts who have done work on skin. We have experts who will be speaking. They've done works on soil. And so we are not just speaking, we are speaking from a research point of view. And these are people who have done works in Ghana in specific areas, Pristia, Bogoso, Samra Boy, and its environs. They've linked some of these things to kidney inflammations and all that. So it's a big problem, very big than we think it is.
Bigger than we think it is.
In fact, you were talking about the tap, the water that is flowing through your tap. And in fact, I was very interested in that. And I wanted to know more. We went to Dabuase, where the polluted pra, is fetched, is pumped and treated for people in Takoradi and its environs. Mind you, when we tested the pra at the Dabuase headworks, we found chromium, high levels of chromium, arsenic, lead, and
cadmium.
Arsenic is a poisonous substance.
Very poisonous.
Used to even
yes, if you Google it, just Google it, arsenic. Google it, and you'll find out the health effects of arsenic. Should arsenic get into your system, what will happen to you? And this is the same water that was being pumped at the Dabuase substation to be treated. And in fact, they were using alum to separate the particles.
That's what the Ghana Water Company uses.
Yes.
Alum.
Yes, they were using alum. These days, the alum alone cannot even separate the suspended particles. So they are using polymers.
And even that is.
So with that, I wanted to find out, okay, so you've treated it, it's gone through the system, and now the water is clean and you are pumping it out. I asked the man, are you able to take out heavy metals if they are in there from this? Initially, he said to some extent, and then later on, he told me that no, they are not able to do that.
So which means that the tap water we take even from Ghana Water treated.
So the treatment that the water goes through is not to remove heavy metals. It is to separate the suspended particles, clear the turbidity, and kill microbes and viruses and bacteria.
And I'm told that the best way for us to be able to have very good quality water to drink is to use reverse osmosis.
Yes. So if we are using reverse osmosis, then we'll be able to take out, if not all, a larger part of the heavy metals that we are having. But currently,
that's not what is done.
Ghana Water Company is not using reverse osmosis.
These communities you visited, where these rivers were tested, you have already told us about the health risks involved. And listeners, there are occasions where you hear somebody has passed as a result of having some kidney problem. And then you'll be told that the person never took alcohol or never did A, B, and C, but the person had kidney problems and died. It could be that a person was exposed to some of these heavy metals.
Yes.
And the person died.
Yes.
So my question to you is this. These communities you visited, did you clearly see people who maybe swam in the Fin River and have had skin problems? Did you see it? How are they themselves taking the whole thing? What is the situation like by way of health in those communities?
So in part 2 of this documentary, you'll be seeing and hearing from some of these people.
Victims?
Yes, victims. Some of them, in the end, they declined to go on TV, though we were going to cover their faces and all that, but they said they can't.
Reason?
Reason, stigma. Because they don't want to be identified to have had this disease which is incurable. One such gentleman who had a kidney problem, in fact, end stage, he was bloated.
Whoa.
The legs, face, every part is swollen. And they've done all tests. It came back negative. And then the doctor decided that, okay, why don't you go and check your mercury levels in the blood? And he went over to the laboratory at the Konfanoche roundabout, came from Samuel Boy to that place to test it. And to the surprise, it was 100 micrograms per deciliter. The acceptable level is 0.015.
0.015.
Yes.
And he has 100 what?
100 micrograms per deciliter. So it's way above.
Well, is he a Galamsey person, Galamsey himself?
Yes, he has mined before.
Because, when we talk about these things,
But the danger is that what he does, according to experts, the exposure he gets is similar to the exposure the community is getting.
Whoa, okay.
It's just like smoking.
Yeah.
So if you are smoking, so you are sitting here, you are smoking. I am not smoking. But as a passive smoker, I'm getting the same exposure you are getting. That's how the vaporized mercury thing works. Again, we're talking about fishes that we fetch from these waters. And already, if you watch Distraction for Gold, which we did last year, you saw the fisherman who was still fishing in the polluted water and bringing fishes.
You were in the boat with him.
Yes, bringing fishes. Some he sells and some he eats himself. And this is the same river that the EPA has conducted tests in fishes from the same river, and they found high concentrations of mercury and lead in the head, specifically the gills.
Isn't that why the other doctor said from that time on he doesn't eat the bones?
Yes.
Or the head of the fish?
Yes.
He just eats the muscles.
Yes. But these people do not know. Across the country, these polluted water bodies, people are still catching fish. In fact, when we went to Atrebuanda, they were making these trap nets that they used to trap lobsters. And I asked the guy, some blind guy, so what do you use these things for? He said, we use it to catch lobsters. From where? He said, a polluted Pra River. It still has lobsters in there. And I said, what do you do?
Lord knows I love lobsters.
Yeah, what do you do with the lobsters? I said, they sell some. And he showed me where they sell it. And they eat the remainder. And they have no idea the exposure they are getting.
How come all these works being done? I mean, the dangers that we're being told of from the rivers and all that. How come we're not communicating that at least to the
That
residents?
is my challenge with academia at the moment. Few scientists, few researchers like Professor Sampini, Dr. Kobina Mensah, Professor Ahin were willing, and Dr. Kumsen. In fact, I cherish her bravery and courage, are willing to share these research works with the public. Imagine, we've gone to a lot of them, a number of them, they declined to comment. They have the research sitting on their table, they've published it in journals, but how many people read the journals? And I was willing to put it on a bigger platform so people will get to know. And many of them were not willing to share that experience with me. I went to Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. The doctors told me, yeah, we are seeing these cases. Many of them, we strongly believe, came from mining communities.
Yeah.
And we feel they are associated with this, childhood cancers and all that. But I cannot talk with you on it.
So if you are silent, listeners, about what is happening, you have a wife or a sister or a mother who may get pregnant and deliver a child that is deformed. Maybe you would have 2 fingers instead of 5 or have 7 instead of 5. You might have a friend somewhere who may die as a result of kidney problems, or because we have allowed a few selfish individuals to continue to engage in Galamsey activities. There are people who would say, David, the situation become worse.
Yeah, if we stop, then that's the end.
The Lands and Natural Resource Minister has made several assurances to Ghanaians that they would go after the big fishes in Galamsey. What has he done about
Rhetoric.
it? The president told us at one point in time that he was ready. He was going to put his presidency on the line.
David, let me...
If it was any serious country by now, the president should have resigned.
Let me say something about that. You see, there is a clear communication strategy being used by government at the moment to sway the minds of well-meaning Ghanaians off what is happening. If you realize, you can go for Jinapo's speeches along the line. You realize that if there is any change, it's just some use of certain words that have changed. Similar narrative, trying to say that government is working very hard, government is doing it. This morning I heard the Attorney General say across the country we are prosecuting 800 people. Please, let them furnish us with names. You realize that these are the Koli guys who are found there. After the big people, the Pole people.
Like Otumfuo himself said.
After the big people have mined and gone, these are the poor boys in the communities who do not have anything. Their lands have been destroyed, they have nothing, and they go behind it with their shovels and other things to wash. These are the people they arrest.
Yeah, they call it Awosuo.
Yes.
And again, John Jinapo told us that he was going to go after the big fishes.
Which big fishes? You see, currently as we speak, all the names I know that are mining. Normally, I don't mention names, and people ask me, why don't you mention their names? It comes with a risk. They are so smart that they don't go to the field where they mine. They go there when they have to get their gold, and you will never see them and find them.
And when there's trouble, the people on the ground, or rather,
they stay in Accra,
place a call to them.
And the people who front for them are the ones who are on the field. When military men and other people go there, they call the big fishes in Accra and they call them off so that they can continue to mine. So it's a clever way. If the government says it doesn't know them, it's a lie.
But they know them. All this work you've done, and you're engaging with experts. What is their fear? Because can we project and say in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, if we don't take care at the same pace, what will happen to this country by way of our health?
But it's already happening. It has started.
It has, gradually. Maybe so that's how we're not appreciating it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Looking at what we are dealing with right now, in the next 5 to 10 years, what will we have on our hands?
We're having a full-blown epidemic coming from some of these things. In fact, if you talk to Dr. Divine Amenuke with the respiratory unit of Komfanoche, he started seeing some rare form of tuberculosis. And then they come at the end stage where the lungs are hardened and they cannot breathe. They put them on oxygen. It's so expensive. At a point in time, they have to discharge them. They go home and they die. Young people who are coming up now.
And don't forget
when you talk to Dr. Yusuf Tijani with the Samatex Hospital in Samreboy, where illegal mining is prone, he will tell you young men are coming with end-stage kidney diseases. And when you test, he has been testing. He has been recommending that people go through the toxicology test. It comes out, you realize that high levels of mercury, high levels of lead. So at least we are seeing that it is happening already. If you talk to the pediatricians, they are telling you they are seeing an increase in childhood cancers. Some of them, many of them coming from the illegal mining areas. So what evidence do we need? If we continue in this trajectory where we are polluting our waters, we are turning the sediments that are full of these heavy metals inside out with champagne machines, and they are flowing across the country. You might think that you are in Accra, you are in Kumasi, and you are safe. Please, David, the cassava you used for fufu yesterday, do you know where it came from?
No idea.
The lettuce that sits in your sandwich, do you know where it came from?
No idea.
Dr. Kobna Mensah did some tests on lettuce and ejama. The one sometimes they use, it's a herb, they use it to boil wache and all that.
Yeah.
And a champon, when you get a cut, they use it to stop the blood. And he found out that these herbs are able to absorb high concentrations of heavy metals, especially lettuce.
Tell me this, I mean, when you go to the communities themselves and you engage with people, not the miners per se, not the people who are doing the Galamsey, but Timemuforo, the residents there, are they not concerned and worried about what
they are not concerned? Some of them are very concerned, but they are in the minority. And you see, Galamsey is a wealthy, thriving business. It involves billions of cedis. When people get into it, they get money. And when they get money, they are influential. A community like Abesia in Achumampunwa, we learned that the water was polluted. We went there, we spoke with the farmers. The farmers at a point in time decided that we are going hungry. We cannot use the river, which is just close to your farm, to water your crops. So they started fighting the champagne operators themselves. Do you know what happened? They were arrested. Plenty of them by the police.
For fighting the champagne operators?
Yes, some flimsy charges of said.
Is it to suggest that the police officers were compromised?
But a lot of police officers are compromised. You see, they stolen one of the champagne operators' motorbike, and that's what they got them arrested for. But the actual crime, which the police see every single day, of people using champagne sitting on the offing, plenty, they are not arrested. These days, what is shocking is that you find that even behind police stations, you find people digging and illegally committing a crime, but they are not arrested. And it baffles my mind.
As we speak, a task force commander has been shot by Galamsey as he's battling for his life.
Yes, I read it.
Don Chebe is battling for his life at the 37 military hospital.
I worked with Don Chebe for so many years. He was with the small scale miners task force, and again with the IMCIM, he was also part of it at a point. Yeah, you see, and we are shielding the people who are destroying our very existence. I think that at this point in time, it is every Ghanaian's responsibility to speak out.
Exactly.
It's every Ghanaian's responsibility to speak out with every tool you have. In fact, if you're a researcher, if you're a scientist, this is the time that various associations, Ghana Medical Association, Pediatric Society of Ghana, the environmental societies, the NGOs, this is the time that people have to stand up and start using their platforms to do press conferences and others to show government that we do not want this and we want it to stop.
Erastus, I'll continue with you shortly. Let me engage with Dr. Benita Kumsing. And Dr. Benita Kumsing, or let me say Dr. Mrs. Benita Kumsing, is a senior lecturer with the Department of Materials Engineering at the KNUST. Doc, good morning to you, and thanks very much for your time with us this morning. Hello, Doc, good morning. Well, I'm told that we lost her on the line. So, Erastus, we have had Otumfuo throw challenge to his chiefs. When you go on the ground and you do some of these things, do you have support from the chiefs? The chiefs who are custodian of the lands, the chiefs who are supposed to protect their people.
Yeah.
What's their stance?
Many of them are playing ostrich. And I'm saying this on authority because all the chiefs we've met, they tell you that we are handicapped, we are helpless, we are this.
But two forces come to me.
But they won't go. Why? Because we found many chiefs at the local level involved directly in the activity. Some of them have bought champagne machines for the boys. They remit 500 cedis a day. Yes, some of the chiefs, some of the queen mothers. One particular queen mother, and I've gone to her house on 2 occasions. I knew she was there. They told me she's not around. I wanted to get her side of the story before I put her name out, and I'll do that. The next time I go there and he tries to hide, I'll come and put the name out. She is on record to have told the farmers who were complaining that champagne ne de ebekoso wa wuntimi nya adwuma wa hado. And in effect, if you cannot work in the area with the champagne machines polluting the river, then you should get out of the community. And she owns a number of the champagne machines. So Nana will have to go forward than what he has done.
So what beats my mind is, let's say the president is being misinformed. I'm speaking hypothetically here. Let's say that the president is being misinformed because he traveled out of the country not long ago and was saying that we're doing very fine winning the Galamsey fight. But let's say he's being misinformed. How come other people, like the Emmy Africa Awards that saw the works you are doing and therefore bestowed on you the PAV Answer Coordinator award, a very big honor than you. Communicator award than you. How come people are seeing it, but the president is not seeing the real picture on the ground, or should I rather say he's refusing to see it?
So I'll go back to the same thing I said, that there is a calculated communication strategy, a narrative which is being spewed out there, and I know that they are feeding the president with the same thing. But you see, I also have a problem with the president, to the extent that I know sometimes the communication can be filtered to the extent that you won't get the real picture. But I have seen many presidents go behind the normal routine, the security communication line, and do their own background checks to get an idea of what is happening. So why is the current president not doing so if he claims he's been misinformed, which I doubt anyway?
Hold a thought for me, because Dr. Mrs. Benita Kumsing, who is a senior lecturer with the Department of Materials and Engineering, KNUST, is back on the phone lines. Doc, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me, sir.
I called up Doctor because, like I mentioned a while ago, if we're drinking directly from the taps in our homes, how safe are we? But before she tells us what we can be doing and indigenous in there and all that, Doc, how concerned are you with the heavy metals found in our rivers and our streams, as reported by Erastus Asaridonko and other experts?
Wow, thank you very much. Good morning to you again, and good morning to our wonderful listeners out there, and to my very good friend, Sir Rasmus. I always forget that, but he's been so active in the whole Galamsey menace. Yes, I'm very much concerned about this issue. Why? Because it pollutes our environment and also releases heavy metals, which can be detrimental to our health. And so, yes, I am very, very, very concerned about this issue.
So you talk about the fact that it could be detrimental to our health. What are some of the dangers that we're exposed to, and how long does it take before they surface?
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. As a researcher who has been looking at removal of heavy metals from Galamsey polluted water, and of course, even with the mines, removal of arsenic from, the mine tailings decant water, I can say that these heavy metals can affect our nervous systems. They can produce skin lesions. You can also have immune system dysfunction. I mean, recently we also heard about the defects in childbirth at those areas where Galamsey is, prominent. So these are some of the effects. And the interesting thing is that it depends on the individual and their levels of exposure. The truth is that heavy metals bioaccumulate. So it's not like your body is able to get rid of it. They stay there and then it keeps building up. So as it gets to a level where the body cannot tolerate, then you begin to see some of these. And that was what came up some few months ago with birth defects at the Galamsey prominent areas. Yeah.
Well, I know that when you say it stays there, you mean it stays in our body. So it could be in our lungs, could be in our kidneys, could be in our livers, could be every part of our body.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Dr. Benita Compson, listen, we buy some food items and we eat them fresh or raw because that's how they are made to be, eating. So carrots and the lettuce and the tomatoes and the onions, we can take them raw. Some fruits are also eaten raw. Unfortunately, we also have to drink water because we cannot do without the intake of water. In some instances, in homes, in schools, they rely on the taps that flow, the Ghana Water Company treated water. Are they safe? Because I hear of reverse osmosis that is not being used in the treatment of water. How safe are we even drinking these waters? What are the dangers?
Wow, this is a very sensitive area you have touched on. Yes, I mean, I have conducted studies with some of my students, and we've realized that there are, heavy metals in some of these food items that we consume. But, I mean, this is not to create any panic because we have remedies available. So, yes, you mentioned Ghana Water and all of that, but you realize that a lot of us in Kumasi and its environs are not fully depending on water from the Ghana Water system, right? Some of us are using dug-up wells and all of that. So I think we have to look at the issue 360, okay? So, yes, Ghana Water currently may not have a good reverse osmosis system. Well, you don't need that system to be able to have potable water to drink. For instance, I have been able to produce iron oxides from cupular furnace slugs, which is able to remove arsenic, lead. It's proven 98% sure from some of these sources, only that we are at the prototype stage. And so there is hope. There is hope. Let us not cause panic and all of that.
But doctor, you say there is hope. Honestly, unfortunately, I don't see the hope. Forgive me. But even with the filter that you talk about and you say you are at the prototype stage, when will it be ready?
Yes, thank you very much. So we are still working on it, and hopefully by early next year, I think that would be out. But also, we have to be sure. The issue about heavy metal pollution is that the water could be very clear. I mean, you wouldn't find it being turbid at all, and still you would have heavy metals there. And so currently, with the system that the Ghana Water is using, they use a lot of calcium oxide, for instance, for disinfection. And calcium is highly reactive and is able to remove arsenic, for instance. So in that area, they're actually doing something that supports our livelihood and our health. So I wouldn't go ahead to say, okay, they are not doing so well or anything. We just have the ability to improve. And also to talk to our brothers and sisters who are actively engaged in the Galamsey activity. It's a good thing. That is where they thrive. I mean, that is where they gain their livelihood from. So we may have to organize it properly and then see how best we can treat the waste that is coming from there, like it is done in the mines, right?
But Doc, again, you mentioned, that even in most homes in Kumasi, many have dug, boreholes and, are using it for their day-to-day activity. How safe is that? Is it also having heavy metals in there? There are some who will tell you that they buy already treated water from bottled to sachet water. Are they even safe for us?
Yes, so this is a very key area. All of us as citizens would have to be concerned, and as researchers, it would be good that we get stakeholders involved to check periodically all these water sources, and then we now are able to say that, well, this is not good enough. You don't have to go there until this is done. Ghana Water has a system. You can, if you are using dug up wells in your house, just fetch a bottle or two, send it to them, and they will test for you at a fee though. They will test for you and advise you whether it is wholesome or not. And if it is not, they can come around and then conduct some sort of shock chlorination to help you disinfect the water. But with respect to heavy metals, not much is done from their end. And that's what we are trying to do, trying to come up with membranes, that will be available to the ordinary person in the society so that the water that you'll be taking will be treated before you can use.
My final question to you is this. It's not necessarily a question. It's something I want you to do for me. We're in this fight together. I want you to speak to our leaders, both traditional and then people, in politics, who have political positions, about the damage that is being done. What is your message to them? What do you want to say to them?
Yes, thank you for this platform and for this opportunity. In fact, to our leaders, we all need to come together, put our, self-interest aside, and then help the ordinary Ghanaian, to have a healthy life. What do I mean? If we have to say no to certain activities, we should be bold enough to come out and say it, because everybody is looking at us, be it MP, be it the chiefs, be it, all the figures you can think of. We all have to stand up and say no, and not just say it. We have to back it with action. If we need to put some money somewhere for research work to be done, let's do it. If we need to sponsor certain filter media to be made available so that people would have healthy lives, let's do it. We can do it as a people. We don't need to go outside looking for funds to support this. Let us speak to it and let us back it with our action. That's what I would say.
Dr. Benita Kumsin, thanks very much for your time this morning. God richly bless you.
Thank you.
So I was having a conversation in Rastus with some people yesterday, when we agreed to have this conversation. And one thing that came up was that, listen, we have talked and talked. For multimedia, we've made up our minds not to stop talking. But we need to also, at one point in time, see results, some positive actions being taken. And something came up. Can we have a demonstration of a sort? People are saying, occupy Julobi House, occupy Bank of Ghana, let's go occupy the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry for like 1 week.
Unfortunately, because you see, the effects of illegal mining are silent and they are invisible to the naked eye. It's not physical. It's not something that you feel. People have these diseases. They don't even know what hit them. So they are in denial. And so they don't see the urgency with what we are saying until you have the disease and there's nothing you can do.
Hold the thought for me. There's nothing you continue for me. I want to activate the phone lines and bring in our listeners now. And so join our conversation. It's a campaign that we have embarked on. This time around, we need to be brutal with the campaign. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, 03220-83598. You drink water. You eat fruits. You eat vegetables, you eat food. They are all contaminated with heavy metals. Your life is at risk. Some selfish individual somewhere is benefiting at our expense. Let's speak out. Let's speak like this. They say, let's speak truth to power. Call us now, 03220-83596, 83597, 83598. I'm not asking you to insult, but let's speak to their conscience. Let them do the right things. Nana Kweku, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. So how are you doing?
God is keeping me alive.
We meet at the other side. We always have our argument. Now, you see, this is I always ask you. The people in these areas where the mining is going on, they themselves, have you ever seen them complain about their roads, blocking roads, left, right, center, organizing demonstrations? Have they themselves, the in-betweens, that are in these places, organize demonstrations to say they are stopping Galamsey? David added to a question. They themselves, you think the minute people that might be concerned. And then the sad aspect, look, David, can I come to your house and mine? Without your consent. So the chief there, the public, the opinion people there, opinion leaders there, and then the assemblymen, those there, what are they sitting aloof? Expecting that someone who is a King Kong or whatever it is to come from somewhere to come and solve a local problem at your own place, your own river, being polluted, and it sits down. Until we start conscientizing the people there to see the effects of this Galamsey on they themselves, my brother, we can do a whole lot of things. Because to be for us right now, it might be going on there. A car passed through, an excavator passed through a community from Tema all the way to that community, even when they go to that locality. So the people that didn't see it, couldn't they have stopped them?
Question there, Nana Kweku. Thanks very much. And I like one thing that Otufo began, distilling some chiefs whose areas have Galamsey going on. Otufo Mr. Mintu Otufo. And as a man America said, Untu Mugina Fia Dieso. You go to Munina. Untu Mugina Fia Dieso, my young. So much Yahoo, Untu Mugina. Daniel, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Dave.
Danny, good to have you, Daniel. Let's hear you, sir.
First of all, let me say congratulations to Uncle Gorgeous Erastus Asaridonko for his wonderful work. Uncle Dave, it seems the way...
Hey. Oh, Daniel, please call us back. Daniel, call us back. I have David on the line, but before David speaks, let me speak to Ken. Hi, Ken, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Welcome, Ken. Let's hear you. Speak to our leaders, the traditional leaders, political leaders. Talk
David,
to them.
David, with our leaders, we can't rely on them because they are the cause of our problem today. They are the cause. They are the head of it. David, what I want to say is, I think Erastus is doing well. But on this, our social medium, which is TikTok and other things, I think the effect that is on, effect of Galamsey in the documentary, some portion of it should be cut and then slap on those media. So people wouldn't waste their data looking at other things which are not of benefit, but rather they can see the effect. Because the more we talk about it on radio stations, and then there should be this commercial. I think commercial so that they play on radio stations. The more we listen, I think we can help each other and then do away with this Galamsey issue because it's very, very dangerous. We can't rely on our leaders. Good morning, David.
Good morning to you, Ken. Thank you very much for joining us. David, hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, David, but I'm worried though. The water I'm drinking, the water you and I enjoy, cry.
Charlie, now I don't even know what to do again. Erastus, for how long have you been championing this Galamsey thing?
Well, since 2015.
2015. So now that you keep on doing, and the communication people also, like you rightly said, using English language to well dodge you and David, would you continue to talk about it?
Oh, yes. Why not?
Life?
Oh, we will. Until I'm no more.
Oh, okay. And they keep dodging you. You don't mind. You will still keep on talking about it.
Definitely, the citizenry will see the need.
The need to rise
power
up.
brokers.
Okay, that's a good work. I commend you. I'll continue to pray for you. But as for David, I've told you to stop thinking about Ghana. Stop it. And when
David, I can't stop thinking about Ghana. I've only one country that I belong to. It's Ghana.
Oh, okay.
And if people are destroying it, and we all put our heads together and put our minds together and we speak with one voice, one day, we'll see the change we're looking for. Kwame, good morning.
Okay.
Hello, Kwame.
Hello, good day.
Hi, Kwame.
Thanks for this opportunity. Our fight against Galamsey, let's be objective. If we are to follow the politicians, we have missed the mark. Starting from 2005 up to today, we see where we are heading towards. Let's refer to the house, to the doorsteps of our chiefs. The chiefs, they do not food for them. They show allegiance to serve the people. They should stand up. We have on record some few chiefs who stood up against it, and it is not happening in their traditional areas. Let me go just pick a piece of land to farm stuff. Wherever in the forest, you will see a chief coming to say it's his land who gave me the permission. That is even farming. But look at destruction of. So I call on journalists. When you are pursuing the politicians, the next government coming, who is the opposition, is worse than may happen. Please, let's turn our focus on our chiefs. They are the best objective because they don't have tenure. The politicians, they go for votes, and the number of people who vote for them, that's why they vote. So, we have on record also that there are times the government will be doing the right thing, and still, because it's against the will of the people or their fortunes in one way or the other, they vote against the government. We have it on record.
Cool.
So let's tell, and nobody will invest and think of losing because the politicians, they invest. So let's turn our attention on the chiefs, and that's all. If we turn our attention on the chiefs and name and shame, I think we will make a better way than where we are.
Yes, we should turn our attention on the chiefs and name and shame. I'm happy with one thing Erasto said about the Queen Mother who has been evading, avoiding to meet up with Erasto just to confirm or deny whether she's also engaged in Galamsey, because she said, but the point is this. You might think that you are safe, you might make the money, but the next trouble will hit your kidneys, your own liver, your own heart, your own, cells will be malfunctioning, and then you get to appreciate what we're talking about. But Erastus, at least I know that there are occasions where we're doing the MBU story, for example, where we went to Kofanochi. I remember when the president came to town, the first lady came to town, and we saw they put up the new MBU and all. When Sir Kwame Watson did the documentary, he took it to the office of the vice president, of the first lady. Can we do something? And not take it to the office of the president himself?
Well, so as part of our plan, we also have a thought leadership on this whole thing that we are planning from Accra. So when we are finished showing the entire documentary, we have part 2, part 3 will come the following week. When we are done, we'll present it we have plans of presenting it to the president. That is, if we will be allowed. Why not? We'll still try to present it to the president himself. So after that, we'll also furnish all the needed agencies, all the agencies across Ghana. We are making copies to personally furnish them with this documentary. And let's see what happens.
The president, I don't know whether he follows what goes on social media and, of course, news portals.
I have no idea.
I don't know whether he does. Because a lot of people keep saying they are disappointed in the president. He raised our hopes so high. We thought he was going to do this. We thought he was going to do that. All the things that people had hopes in the president to deliver on, the president has failed and failed woefully. So is he hearing those comments, or he's not, or he has and simply does not care? I'm just asking a harmless question. Let's go to our WhatsApp console.
Good morning, Dave. There is Isaac. I think it's about time we change our strategies in how we are dealing with how to curb this menace, because it's clear that those at the top are unconcerned. Look at what the Attorney General said. He has no evidence. What other evidence does he need? Again, Erastus has a plethora of evidence. That is not the evidence he's looking for, because their own people are implicated. Akwanta Manen, their chairman, where is he? Okay, so I mean, they do not suffer from the consequences of this mercury pollution of our water bodies. It is the ordinary Ghanaian in these villages that are suffering, and they are going there to campaign for breaking the 8. How insensitive can we be? Dave, we have to take this fight by our own self, Ghanaians. Otherwise, our leaders, they don't care. When they are sick, they even travel outside for medical attention, and we are here singing praises to them. Very sad.
Indeed, very sad. And you and I know how much it costs for dialysis treatment. If somebody has a kidney problem, we all know the cost of dialysis treatment in Ghana, plus the other treatment. Some of these things does not even health insurance does not cover it. And so if we allow this to go on and on and on and on, we are killing ourselves. We don't realize it now, but we're killing ourselves slowly.
Yeah, because these things do not happen to you immediately.
Overnight, yeah.
The heavy metals bioaccumulates in your system for a very long time. It can take like 10 years, 12 years, 15 years.
And it's painful.
And then at a point when really they are at their peak, that is where you can do nothing about.
But sometimes it might not even take 10 years. It depends on the volumes you have in your system.
Yeah.
It could be lesser than 10 years.
Yes.
It could be 2 years or even less because of the numbers you have in your system.
This guy we showed on the previous day, in the first part, you saw he was shaking. He was directly exposed. And he said at a point in time he felt like his intestines were moving. And the drug to manage it's not like you can get it all out of your system, but they are very expensive drugs. 10,000 Ghana cedis per dosage.
God save us.
That is now helping him to function, manage the condition.
And if it continues like this, it's not just our health that is at stake. We cannot even farm anymore. Because listen, we have more coming up your way on the Super Morning Show later this morning, as an anti-Galamsey task force commander has been shot in the abdomen by some Galamseyers at Ankasi. Don Chebe is the name. That conversation comes up your way shortly on the Super Morning Show. But for now, we've got messages for you.
In the bustling city of Kumasi, where culture meets commerce, there is a place that beckons to you. The Kensington Heights, brought to you by HDG Homes. Imagine a world where convenience, comfort, and investment opportunities converge seamlessly. The Kensington Heights offers an incredible opportunity for investors and businesses worldwide. With the focus on the new Kumasi International Airport, the Kensington Heights is your bridge to the skies, where you can access direct flights to international destinations, including the USA, UK, and Europe. No more extra commutes or missed flights. Imagine Kumasi being busier than Accra over the next few years. Let HDG Homes help you with your investment strategy. Kindly call 0201-399-708 for more details, or visit our websites www.thekensingtonheights.com.
The Atamankampoe and the Ankasi enclave, they spotted some illegal miners there. So they went there, they stopped them from pollution and also degradation of the environment, and picked their pumping machines, arrested some of them. But in the process, some community, youth from the community, that Samantampo area, came with guns, and then in the process, the commander of the task force got shot. So he was rushed to the Chibi government hospital and later transferred to 37, where he is receiving treatment now. The Nazim task force, that's the small-scale miners task force, were able to arrest two of the guys who brought the pop actions, send them to the Chebi Divisional Police Command. But the guy who shot the task force commander, he's called, I think, Damso. We've got his pictures, his IDs, and all that. He is on the run, and he shot me with a pistol. And according to our people, he shot the first one. He tried to shoot the second time, but he couldn't go through. If he has got the second bullet through, like, he will kill the commander on the spot. And this at Samantamfoe area, the enclave inside, they have a lot of illegal miners. And now we have even some land guards who are also hired by some of these illegal operators to protect their illegal activities. We've reported the issue to the police and then the military that we work with. Normally we work with the Southern Command. When there are issues, we report, and then they come and support us in our operations. So that was what happened the Wednesday.
Okay, let me bring in Professor Kwesiening. Prof, so these are persons engaged in illegality, and they have the guts. They actually drive to the scene, pick a gun, and shoot. First question is, why are they so bold? Who could be behind them? Under whose authority could they be operating, or who's supporting them for them to be that bold?
Well, thank you very much. I'll ask you a counterfactual question, although this morning you are agreeing with their questioning. Why shouldn't they be so bold?
Tell me.
The state has failed in classifying this illegality as an existential threat to Ghana. The end result is that when the state itself denies that this illegality is polluting our waters, threatening livelihoods, creating a demand for dangerous banned chemical substances, leading to social vices. And now those who are engaged in this criminality, I will use the word illegal, this is organized criminality, think they have the appropriate networks and the support infrastructure to turn their guns against those also within the state system who are honest, with integrity, and seek to do what is right. Those people on the side of the law will increasingly be perceived as the enemy who needs to be wiped out. But you asked a subsidiary question about the support.
Yes.
And we need to understand the network infrastructure that allows this to go on. Let me go back a couple of years. When former President Mahama initiated his interministerial task force thing, about 5,000 Chinese were deported from Ghana, all coming from one district in China. Almost all of them had legitimate working permits signed by a statutory institution in Ghana, and then that institution overnight said the permits were fake. So they were deported. And therein lies the complexity and the misunderstanding around the Isaac 1 case. Boarding pass produced, supposedly deported, but no government institutions can confirm that she left the country. We don't know how she came into the country again to continue her business. So when you use the word on whose authority, we are looking at the state of Ghana being under siege because its authority, its public institutions that are mandated to protect the interest of Ghana have been compromised. And it cuts across a swathe of national institutions. So when people like this gangster are bold enough to have access to a pump action gun, buy the bullets from somewhere,